All right, man, we're gonna be reacting to why football fans are tired of this one man, and that one man is gonna be Fabrizio Romano. I don't know how to properly say his name.
We are just over half an hour from the window closing, and
Romano.
Arsenal have pulled off the signing of Mesut Ozil. A 5-year contract was put on the table to him. He has signed that. Mesut Ozil is now going to be playing in the Premier League.
That was the moment the world and these Arsenal fans found out Ozil was signing for Arsenal. But that was 2013, a time when the football transfer window was theatre. Sky Sports almost made it feel like a season of Succession. Unconfirmed reports of helicopters, frantic moments outside stadiums, polls like it was election night, and deals done on fax machines with minutes to spare. Then came a new era. No drama, no theatrics, just 3 words. Here we go. A phrase that belongs to one man, Fabrizio Romano, an Italian journalist who, in recent years, has completely reshaped how transfer news is consumed. With relentless updates, authentic sources, and a signature phrase, he has built a personal brand empire across all social media platforms. But somewhere along the way, the thrill began to wear off. These days, every deal comes with weeks of build-up, tweet after tweet. By the time a transfer actually happens, it feels like an anticlimax. There's no shock. We almost don't celebrate signings anymore. Instead, we track them like shipments. Fabrizio Romano changed how transfer news works, but maybe...
Not gonna lie, this like transfer window that just happened, I already knew everything that went on, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. Like, I heard once that Embuemo deal was fucking the first fucking month, bro, of that shit. Rumors, bro. I was already on that, bro. And it wasn't even Fabrizio Romano, bro. It was just like, if you're really tapped in, like the soccer scene, or I shouldn't say soccer, football scene, then like you already know like the rumors and shit like that. Fabrizio Romano just beats out like the confirmed rumor, I guess. But yeah.
Maybe in perfecting the system, he drained the life out of it. The magic's gone. What's left is here we go again and again and again. So how did we go?
I'm not gonna lie though, if you hear that here we go, that shit is it's basically confirmed, bro. It's 100%, bro. 110% actually, bro. Like it's wraps.
From looking forward to the end of the season to almost getting bored by transfer news, this is Football Explained.
Sending money abroad, wise is the smarter way. You can save up.
Oh, I hope he explains like how he started.
Top footballers sliding into your DMs is big, but Fabrizio's story started far from the limelight. Born in Naples and raised in a football-mad family, Fabrizio didn't come from legacy media or ex-player circles. He got his first real break at just 18, working with Italian journalist Gianluca Di Marzio at Sky Sports Italia. Millennials who got their news from Twitter back then know how big that was. And that's where he made his first major scoop too, about a then unknown Mauro Icardi moving to Sampdoria from Barcelona. But this scoop was unlike most others at the time. It was done all through WhatsApp. That too, from a random contact in Barcelona. This is the kind of hustle that made Fabrizio unique. He would get in places where most couldn't, and it's not by accident either. Years later, he would describe his workflow like this. I work 20 hours a day. I sleep for 3 or 4 hours, and even then I wake up to check my phone. And fans have taken notice too. Armed with a phone and a laptop, and bottomless pit of contacts, and a god-tier notification game, Fabrizio bypassed the usual media gatekeepers. No editorial filters, no slow print cycles, just raw, real-time info. By the time most journalists were fact-checking, he had already posted. And then came the magic words. In the 2020 January transfer window, Fabrizio was covering Bruno Fernandes' long-rumored move to Manchester United. After weeks of conflicting reports and endless speculation, Fabrizio tweeted, "Bruno Fernandes to Manchester United. Here we go." That was it. Those last 3 words were an instant sensation. Fabrizio Romano became the internet's most trusted transfer source by doing what traditional journalists couldn't: speed, accuracy, and relentless updates. While others waited on file reports, he broke news in real time, often before clubs made anything official. This was also during a time when social media was flooded with fake, in-the-know accounts churning out baseless transfer rumours for clout. Amid the chaos, Fabrizio stood out by getting it right consistently in a landscape built on noise. Fans craved certainty, and the 3 words delivered it. At first, it was just a way to confirm deals, but it quickly became a brand in itself. Memes were born and shirts were made. Fans started refreshing Twitter for it. Clubs began timing their announcements after his posts. From a Twitter account with a small number of followers not that long ago to over 100 million followers across platforms today, Fabrizio has essentially built a football media empire.
That's crazy.
Clubs, agents, and even CEOs now feed him information directly. It's a level of access that's practically unprecedented for the football industry, let alone for an internet journalist. Later in the video, we will see how Fabrizio almost single-handedly changed the culture of transfer news. But for that to happen, Fabrizio needed to be incredibly organized with his approach to breaking the news. And just like how Fabrizio streamlined his reporting process, Odoo helps businesses streamline their operations. With over 45 integrated tools, Odoo is a complete business management software. Fans in the UK might remember CFAX, a clunky teletext-based service that looked like a football's version of dial-up internet.
There used to be a thing in the UK called teletext. You'd push a button on your TV remote and it would come up and it would be a very formative written screen.
That was Dan Cook, the man behind the hugely popular HLTCO account on Twitter and the HLTCO podcast.
And there was also a premium phone line that you used to be able to call called Club Call. And they used to advertise it on teletext as far as I remember. And you'd ring up and there would be like an automated voice, obviously pre-recorded, not a computer animated voice, but someone who'd recorded it onto tape. And it would say something along the lines of, coming up next, we've got the latest transfer news for Crystal Palace. But first, let's talk to you. And it would be like an interview with the groundsman or the tea lady. And it would keep you on the line for 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes just because you're waiting to hear a little tidbit of news. And, 99 times out of 100 it was completely baseless. But the desperation to know what was going on was a huge part of it. And I think...
Then came Sky Sports, and they took that desperation and made it a full-blown production. The yellow ticker, reporters surrounded by rowdy fans. And of course, Jim White's yellow tie was its own headline, along with a few questionable displays. At the time, you didn't scroll, you waited at the newsstand, in front of the telly, by the radio. But by the social media age, the source of information had changed. Fans stopped relying on newsrooms and started following individual journalists on Twitter. But there was still room for suspense, as there were multiple sources. And then Fabrizio Romano arrived and flipped the whole script on its head. He didn't just join the conversation, he became the conversation. The newsroom? That's him. The studio? Also him. The only football journalist most fans needed to follow? Yeah, just him. But over time, that constant presence started to blur the lines. It wasn't just about big moves anymore. It was about every rumour and every whisper. From frequent Lamine Yamal tweets to every phase of a basic transfer. A regular transfer move might get you 7 to 10 updates, but for a bigger transfer, it's relentless. Take the recent Florian Wirtz deal to Liverpool, for example. Fabrizio first reported about a potential move for Wirtz on May 8. From that point until the official announcement from Liverpool, there were about 50 tweets mentioning Wirtz, all in their own category. And this doesn't even cover all the platforms. At this point, the formula is familiar. Fabrizio posts a few tweets, drops a selfie video, a few more tweets, says here we go, a picture of the said players on holiday, and then 5 more stages of confirmation. So halfway through it all, you already know what to expect. Sometimes he's even tweeting about the specific time of day when clubs are meant to announce a transfer, killing even the last ounce of joy left for fans at this saga. This is in stark contrast to what used to happen during transfer windows before Fabrizio, because those used to be unhinged. For example, the Barbelcopter. In August 2010, Ryan Babel was determined to leave Liverpool for Birmingham, and he supposedly flew from Liverpool to London by helicopter, only to vanish and return to Merseyside. To this day, no one actually knows where he went. Then there was Peter Odemwingi's 125-mile solo car ride from West Brom to QPR on deadline day in 2013. He arrived and was promptly denied entry to the club facilities as no deal existed. Captured live on Sky Sports, it became deadline day legend. or when Manchester United tried to hide the arrival of David De Gea with a white curtain and failed miserably. Even the club announcements came with extravagant, over-the-top videos to unveil players. It was all chaotic, human, and unpredictable. Moments that defined the transfer window. But today, it's tweets, reels, and memes. The algorithm loves it, but that magic is gone. Speed overtook spectacle. Predictability replaced pandemonium. For some fans, it made the transfer window feel more efficient, but way less fun. And unfortunately for Fabrizio, the backlash wasn't that far behind.
I'm 2,500 frames per second of explosive cinematic pose.
Fabrizio arrived when the whole world finally adapted to digital media. News got faster, attention spans got shorter, and to his credit, he figured out how to game the system. Not everyone wanted to wait anxiously for a yellow ticket or a late-night press release, because some actually preferred the bite-sized updates and one-liner scoops. That became the new default, and for a long time, it worked. Still does for many, despite the recent memes and the occasional mistakes on social media. He has built a community of dedicated followers who genuinely value what he does. But as the frequency of updates increased, the overall experience began to change. To start with, there have been a few occasions over the years where he has been fast but not accurate. Beyond this, there are some who call him a tap-in merchant because he's often not the first person in social media to actually break the news, but gets most of the credit for it. Some fans now prefer journalists like David Ornstein, who are more measured and more curated.
I mean, from my personal point of view, there have been 3 or 4 things over the years that Fabrizio Romano has done the here we go for in relation to Crystal Palace that haven't ended up coming to fruition. So it's not as though he is this 100% bulletproof with certain high profile players.
I mean, he's pretty close though, I'm not gonna lie.
10, 20, 30 tweets from him about a specific player. And often the same tweet really will be reworded a day later, 2 days later, and you're not really getting new information. If you look at David Ornstein, for example, he's nowhere near as frequent in terms of his output, but when he says something has happened, 99 times out of 100, if not more, it's happened.
The same dramatized captions and some occasional mistakes made by Fabrizio are one thing, but a few recent incidents have raised eyebrows. Some fans don't even see him as a journalist anymore. They see him as a PR machine, paid to hype players, push narratives, and post on cue. In particular, Fabrizio's coverage of Mason Greenwood during and after his move to Marseille drew heavy backlash. Despite Greenwood's disturbing past, Fabrizio kept posting glowing updates, transfer news, contract details, match performance. He tweeted about Greenwood repeatedly, often sounding less like a journalist and more like a PR agent. To many fans, it felt like image rehab, with many suspecting it was paid for.
Even if he isn't getting directly paid, we all know that someone who is that ubiquitous in the space will have people who want him to report favourably on their players. So it may not be financially, but in terms of access, in terms of.
But at the same time, it's like you're trying to run a business, right? It's like I see it. Maybe I'm not gonna lie. Manchester United posts do be getting more clicks and more likes than any other post. It's just I'm just gonna keep it a buck. Like it just works better, bro. And if it works better, then why? Like you have to keep on pushing what what gets you more clicks. Like that's the real truth of it.
Of networking, it's very much a case of him scratching people's backs and they scratch his.
In February 2024, Danish outlet Tipsbladet uncovered internal documents from Memo PR, the company connected to Fabrizio's operations. The documents show that Memo allegedly contacted multiple clubs, including FC Copenhagen and Norway's Vålerenga, pitching paid-for appearances by Fabrizio on his social platforms. One email offered, "We can boost your transfer narrative with Fabrizio's voice for approximately €1,000 per tweet, or up to €6,000 for a custom video." FC Copenhagen confirmed they received the offer, but declined, calling it ethically wrong. Vålerenga's ex-marketing director, Miran Amuntan Ansari, was blunt. "In my 7 years at the top level, I've received many strange requests, but never like this. It's nonsense. I unfollowed him on social." Now, to be fair, plenty of internet personalities operate through agencies and teams. In Fabrizio's case, there's every chance that his entire digital machine, from outbound requests to tweet phrasing, is handled by multiple people across platforms. The modern football journalist is no longer just a reporter. They're part influencer, part brand, part algorithm. The line between journalism and content creation isn't just blurry, it barely exists. So when the backlash hits, it doesn't land on the agency behind the curtains. It lands on the face on the stage. And in this story, that face is Fabrizio. Some of the other backlash came not from the scoops, but from how they were framed. Take what happened with Rooney Bargi. In 2023, Fabrizio claimed that Rooney, who played for Copenhagen at the time, was being benched for refusing to extend his contract. The takeaway? The club was icing him out to force a renewal. But Copenhagen quickly shut this down, flat out denying the report. Tipsbladet, who followed the whole thing closely, called it a textbook case of how powerful journalists can steer a story, even when it's not entirely grounded in fact. While some of the backlash sticks, not every criticism online of him is fair though. Fabrizio is at times misquoted, misread, or blamed for things he never actually said. Ultimately, Fabrizio didn't just change how we hear about transfers, he changed how they feel. He became a one-man newsroom trusted by millions. And that trust now extends well beyond just transfers. For instance, in the lead up to the 2024 Ballon d'Or ceremony, Vinicius Jr. was the hot favourite to win the prize. The story felt set, but hours before the ceremony, whispers started to surface. Maybe it wasn't Vinicius, maybe it was Rodri. Then Fabrizio posted it, and that was that. No twist, no tension, just confirmation that the ending had already been written.
We've all been there Christmas morning, you get your presents, they're under the tree, you want to shake them and wonder what they are. If someone goes, there's no point shaking that, it's a PlayStation, you're happy it's a PlayStation, but it does remove the joy of shaking the box and unwrapping it yourself.
And this tells a bigger story that maybe in chasing speed and perfection, we lost the part that made it all so human. When deals collapsed, players showed up unannounced, and fans lived for the unpredictable. Now we scroll, we skim, we already know. We miss the madness, the late night suspense, the deadline day drama that felt like anything could happen. Because in the end, we're just fans waiting by the window, hoping to catch a glimpse of magic.
Almost like, so Andre Iniesta, for example, is retiring on the 8th of October. Now, this was broke by Fabrizio Romano early. Iniesta's going to announce his retirement on the 8th of October, which leads people to be like...
That's like one thing though, like, if like, transfer, like, if you're going to be transfer news, bro, if you're going to be a journalist, bro, like, stick to that shit. You're telling me you're over here, like, telling me about who's going to win the Ballon d'Or early, bro, like, come on. That's pushing it. Like, another thing is, like, you're going to tell me about Iniesta's fucking retirement, bro? Like, do I really gotta know, bro? Come on, bro. A little bit too much.
Let the man announce his own retirement. So,
Fab, you know I love you, bro, but you ruined it.
My point.
W video, man. Is that gonna change its following? Probably not. Am I still gonna look for news from him? Probably yes. That is what it is, man. Can't really change it unless he has like crazy fall off, but like besides him, there's only like a couple few other journalists who really are on it. Like the one that D just named. I might have to check. But yeah, man. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below.